This is Gifted Magazine, and we have what you need. This is AwesomeWill here, and I was just sliding by, so I decided that I'd slide on in and drop another video on you. I hope that you are well today. Lady hollers at plane traveler kicking her seat about leaning back during flight. Lady hollers at plane traveler kicking her seat about leaning back during flight. What is acceptable behavior for one or for one person on a flight can be rage-inducing for another, as passengers found out in the latest viral plane etiquette video. The video footage that I saw and that I viewed, there wasn't a full clipping of, it was just partial. It wasn't the actual full footage of what was going on the flight. It clearly shows that it seems as if they were getting off of the plane, like they've made their destination. And there was a lady standing up, and she was confrontational with a guy. He was sitting down, and the dispute was, about her leaning back, as the title of the video, is all of that is included, which the title pretty much explains. But she was being confrontational with a guy that was sitting there. I'm assuming that he was just a passenger of the lady that he was sitting beside, that was actually kicking this woman's seat. So she wasn't talking. I'm assuming, I don't know if that's him or if there was a lady. But if there was a lady that was kicking her seat, I didn't see any video footage of her. But I heard the guy say, you two were doing the same thing. You two were doing the same thing. And she was saying, I'm allowed to let my seat back. I'm allowed to lean my, she was in a rage, you know what I mean? She was on one. And the guy was like, well, you two were doing the same thing. You two were doing the same thing. But in my opinion, this is how I feel about it. Because, I'm not the tallest, but I have pretty long legs. Before losing the weight that I've lost, being a pretty, pretty broad or pretty big guy, I improvise whatever's going on at that very moment, you know what I mean? So everyone can have the most comfortable flight, Okay, although I'm tall, if someone behind me is just as tall, what I'll do first is, I'll let my seat back. I'll recline my seat, just a little bit. And each time that I recline to my comfortability, I'll ask the passenger behind me if they're okay, because there's times that I have, let my seat back just a little too far, and they were kind to me. They didn't say anything, but I myself, being the man that I am, being a somewhat considerate person, I asked them, are you comfortable? Are you okay? Because I don't want to come back too far on you. And even if I didn't have that comfortability of, reclining my chair because someone was, much taller than I was, or, they might have been much bigger than I was, I'll just sit uprightly. It's only a few hours, it's not the most comfortable, if I'm going home, I can do all of that when I get there. You know what I mean? I could lay down, I could scratch my behind, I could fart, I could do whatever I want to do when I get there. You know what I mean? So, for the most part, it's more about all of us traveling together, you know what I mean? And all of us having the best experience traveling with, other individuals, and yet alone the airline. But this lady, man, I'm telling you, she was in a rage saying that, I'm allowed to let my seat back. You are allowed to let your seat back, but don't be selfish. Don't be inconsiderate of other passengers. It was kind of childish, for the person or the individual to not be vocal about, well, they were vocal about it somewhat, but there wasn't a form of resolution to the problem, or how they're going to, come up with a strategy to, make things or make some kind of arrangement, for, something to better accommodate one another. The airlines has done their part already. And then you're two adults, you know what I mean? I'm sure that you too could figure it out. But like I said, everybody doesn't have great communication skills, and some people just feel, not saying that the lady was, or she felt that way, but some people just feel, entitled. Fly first class. You wouldn't have to worry about that, if that was the issue. You can let your seat back as far as you want. You don't have to really worry about anybody else being behind you and, making, things difficult for you. Your flight, making it, making it an experience that you wished you have inexperienced. You know what I'm saying? Or that you have never experienced, to begin with. You know what I mean? So, even when it comes to like windows, window blinds and things of that nature, if it's too warm on the plane, I'm gonna let the blind down. You know what I mean? I'm gonna let the blind down. Now, if the person besides me, or beside me, I'm sorry, I apologize. If the person beside me, decides that they want to take some photos or whatever, although I'm hot, it's just a photo, man. It's just a photo. It's not like you're gonna melt. You know what I'm saying? It's just a photo. Let the window up, or let the window blind up. Let them get a couple of, because they may be visiting. You know what I'm saying? They may be visiting. I'm not that type of person. You know what I'm saying? I'll let the window blind up. Let them take a couple of pictures or whatever. And let it back down. Let it back down. Even regarding like the AC vent or the air conditioning vent. You know what I mean? If it's too cold for the passenger beside me, they have their vent closed. You know what I mean? But if it's too cold, I won't close it all the way, but I'll close it just a little for their comfort. You know what I mean? Now, if I'm too hot, you know what I mean? We'll have to figure it out. Well, give me a few minutes. I understand that you go. And they may not even ask me to close it. I just may, if I see, it's pretty much body language. 80% body language and 20% verbal. You see you have a nice lady, or you have an elderly woman sitting beside you. She's prepared. She's wearing a sweater. You know what I mean? And, she may be rubbing her arms, you know what I mean? Because she's just cold, you know what I mean? Low blood or whatever, People have medical conditions as well. And she's rubbing her, she has a scarf on, she has a sweater on, etc. And she's just cold, you know what I mean? Me being who I am, and this is an elderly woman, or elderly man, but, we're going to just say elderly woman, sitting beside me, I'm going to better accommodate her. You know what I mean? I'm going to close the vent a little bit. It's not going to hurt anything, man. It's not going to hurt anything. As an adult, you do what you please, in situations like that. But if I have to spend, a few minutes of the flight opening and closing it, and closing the vent, that's fine. I don't have a problem with that. You know what I mean? I don't have a problem with that either. So, we should be able to better get along with one another, especially grown folks traveling. You know what I'm saying? And the kicking of the seats and things like that. That was childish too. You know what I mean? So, let's come together, man, and do what's right, amongst each other. You know what I'm saying? Do what's right for the benefit of not only ourselves, but do what's right, in behalf of someone else as well. You dig what I'm saying? It could be so simple. All that cat fighting and crap. For what? Like, for what? Just let your seat up or fly first class. You know what I mean? If you're on somebody, and you seem as if you're not comprehending what's going on, maybe they didn't want to talk to you. you're not comprehending what's going on. They keep kicking your seat, hoping that you get what they're trying to tell you. You know what I mean? It's common sense, but see, they say common sense ain't so common too. You know what I mean? So she shouldn't have done it, and the lady shouldn't have been hollering either. You know, even you are allowed to recline your chair, ma'am, but you aren't allowed to recline it on to other people. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter how far the seat goes back. If that person's body presence doesn't allow you to recline fully, let the seat up. That ain't right. It's not right. And you shouldn't do things like that. And neither should the passenger. You know, you shouldn't be kicking nobody's seat either. You know what I mean? Come on now. We better than that, y'all. Come on, man. Please let me know what your opinions are of this video, you know, or of this topic. I'd love to hear from you. Please be sure to get busy in that comment section, and also be sure to not subscribe, but if you would just like or share this video, it'll be greatly appreciated. This is your host, AwesomeWill. I hope that you have a pleasant day, and until next time, just like I slid in to drop you another video, I'm about to slide on out and continue about. You dig what I'm saying? Until next time, y'all. Peace.